What's up, fam? This is another episode of Mrradillo's World. I am back as Mrradillo. I haven't done like a fun episode. Well, I mean, I've been doing a bunch of fun episodes, so because I enjoy doing this. But I just finished watching season 5 of The Bear, and I'll be honest, I've liked The Bear. I've loved The Bear. I hated season 4. Um, I loved the aspect of like getting to do the bear, you know what I mean? Do the restaurant. Then they just started taking some left turns. There's some characters I'm not the biggest fan of that the writers decided to lift up, even though the entire show is about Carmi. But it got me to thinking about my 10 most favorite shows. And I kind of wanted to go through those with you, but I also wanted to talk about season 5 of The Bear at the top of the show. I really actually did enjoy this season, even though I was ticked off because spoiler alert, 1, 2, 3. So now you know you got to leave if you don't want spoilers. Carmi is leaving. We find that out in season 4. He gives ownership to Richie, Nat, and Sydney, and because he needs to get away from it. But the thing about like Carmi is he's genius and he makes everyone else better, right? But they try to prop this thing that Sydney is better than him, and she's better in some ways, right? I'm not trying to harp on her, but she's just an annoying character, how she's written. But again, like I think the entire point of the show is Carmi. The reason the bear even exists is because of Carmi. Like Carmi elevates everyone he's around. He is the Michael Jordan of cooking. Funny enough, it's in Chicago, and we are blurry. We are blurry. Let's see if we can get back. Let's see if we can get back. Whoo! Ho! Hello, camera. Camera. Let me see if we can shut this off real quick. Let's come back and refocus. Hello. 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 Configure video. Okay. Let's do resolution. Let's see if we can do. I don't think these do. Okay. Dude, why is it out of focus? This is so annoying. All right, like, hello. Well, let's see if we can go to another setup and see. Oh, we went to the Matrix. Excuse me, guys. Open discussion. Okay, and then we're back. I apologize. I'm gonna leave that all in. But yes, Carmi is the Michael Jordan of cooking, right? And I want to see Michael Jordan. I don't want to see Scottie Pippen. I don't want to see Dennis Rodman, right? I don't want to see the characters that Michael Jordan has elevated, right? If Michael Jordan is not there, we're not winning championships, right? So I get the whole aspect that he's building talent, he's elevating them, he is pushing them, right? Scottie Pippen would not be Scottie Pippen without Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan made Scottie Pippen by who Michael Jordan was, and that is Carmi in The Bear. Okay, so to me, like the aspect of like the for whatever reason the writers decided to not to focus on all the side characters besides Carmi. Right, Carmi is the one elevating everyone, and yes, he's troubled because of his family life. I don't know why they just didn't want to give him the ride off into the sunset. He got 2 stars at the end, but it's Sydney that's got the stars. It's not Carmi, who is Michael Jordan, right? So that's my biggest frustration with this show. It lost plot of the entire focus of it. And it made these obstacles for Carmi. Running a business is hard. I like how that aspect they showed, but they lost the point of the entire show, right? And they'll get all melodramatic and get all super analytical of like why this is better and blah 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 blah. I just think the writers don't want a happy ending. They don't want the 6 championships, right? They want the side characters to be the main star. And that for me is not the show I was pumped about. I was pumped about because yes, it's a very funny show. It has a lot of heart. Great show. But I just think they have a fascination with Sydney, who, let's say, is Scottie Pippen to Carmi, who is Michael Jordan. And I'm not focused on Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is great in his own way. He's not Michael Jordan. Anyways, That's my take on The Bear. I don't know if I can make it any better, and people can call me a hater. I don't care. It's not the show that I loved when I started. I started to the build into the ascent, right? That's what I wanted, and we got it. But the ending to me was not great. Yes, I like this season a lot more than I like season 4, but I didn't like how they put Carmi in this box to where he can't function. Right? No, this guy can do things. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna move on, but I want to talk about my top 10 shows. Talk a little bit about them, why I like them, when they were created, how many seasons there were, and just what kind of drew me to this top 10. So I'm gonna start at number 10. So here is 10, and we are and these are subject to change. But before those, let's do some honorable mentions. And these aren't in the top 10, not because they're not great shows, not because I don't love them, not because they're not peak cinema. I think it's, for me, it's like it's the way I'm rating this is it's rewatchability. Like, what do I put on when I want to watch something, or like how many times have I watched this over and over again, right? And for me, my top 10, like I will put those on consistently. Whereas these ones I do, but just not as often. Okay, so top 10. These are honorable mentions outside the top 10. So we got The Chosen. Uh, Great show about Jesus. I really love that show. Has a lot of heart. People are really critics of it, but to me, I love that show. South Park, super hilarious. It's a little too edgy for me now. And they started going down this tinge about Jesus, and it kind of got really sacrilegious. Obviously, it's not an appropriate show for children, right? But their political take on just life was kind of clever, and they do a really good job, and they're funny. They are very funny. I can't hate on them. Breaking Bad, one of the greatest shows I think on this list that didn't make my top 10. It's a great show. Not saying it's not. It's integrated. I haven't watched it more than like twice, and it's because it's so heavy. It just makes me feel like, I don't know how to put this. It makes me feel not great. And I don't want to watch a show that like is so heavy all the time that I'm worried. I'm not a fan of scary. I'm not a fan of anxiety. I have enough of that in my life. I don't want to have an entertainment show that is mostly that. So that's why Breaking Bad did not make my top 10, right? Obviously, it's a great show. Loved it. Watched it. It's a very good show. Game of Thrones. Loved Game of Thrones. The last seasons kind of ruined the whole entire show for me. So I'm not. It gets kicked off the top 10 just because it could have been. It was awesome. It was awesome. We were watching. Some stuff in there that they could have left out. A lot of nudity and sex for no reason. But the core story is a very good story. But they just killed it with the final season, and I haven't revisited since, and I won't ever revisit any of the spin-offs or anything because they've ruined the entire story for me, and I don't want to be in that world anymore. The OC. This is a classic. I almost had this because I used to watch this so much, and even when I get nostalgic about California, I will pop on the OC. Even though I'm not from Orange County, I'm from Northern California, but it just fits that California vibe that I love and miss sometimes. That is one of my honorable mentions. I still have like 3 more. New Girl. Loved this show. Still has a lot of rewatchability. Didn't make my top 10 because I think their show is just better than it. It's still, I will pop this on and love it. It's super fun. Um, it was it was great at a very specific time in my life, and that's why like I cherish this show. But it didn't make my top 10. Sopranos, great show. Obviously, this is an honorable mention, like one of the classic TV shows. But again, I haven't watched that as many times as maybe some other people because there's some aspect about it, like it's very heavy, and at times like I don't feel good after I've watched it. And that's for me is like I need to feel good because again, life is stressful enough. I don't need to be worried about like what I'm watching, you know? And the last one, this one is just fun and I love watching it with my wife, is Emily in Paris. I don't know why I like this show so much. It's very interesting. But I get to visit different countries. I get to experience different culture. I don't know. I just like that show. I like that she's American and she just is successful. And that's just a really fun show that I love watching with my wife. But that's an honorable mention. But it did not make the top 10. Okay. So starting off at number 10, this show I love. It was made in 2009. It had 6 seasons, and that 6 seasons, excuse me, and that is Community. Community is a show about Greendale Community College. A bunch of different students that meet for the first time, create a study group, and then they just have wild shenanigans. It gets really wild and outlandish, and then outlandish. One of my favorite things about the show is like each episode is kind of a play on a movie or a riff on a movie. So they'll do like a movie. Um, the structure of that specific show is a movie, which I really enjoy. Like they'll do Star Wars, they'll do like a western, they'll do like a crime thriller. Like it's they take other movies and basically make the show about that. I don't know, and it's because it's from the lens of Abed, the intrinsic, eccentric character who's also a little autistic. I think there, but yeah, Community. I can watch the show over and over again. Super funny. The characters are great. You got Joel McHale as Jeff Winger. Danny Pundy as Abed. That's the kind of autistic character. Allison Brie, Annie Edison, Jillian Jacobs as Britta Perry, Donald Glover, and then Chevy Chase. And then we also have Shirley. We can't forget about her. Yvette Nicole Brown, Ken Jeong, Jim Rash as Dean, and then Ben Chang. So yeah, that's number 10 on my list. I love this show. And it falls apart when some of the characters leave. That's what's hard about shows, I think, is like once a character, like a favorite, like Troy and Chevy Chase leave, Pierce Hawthorne, like the show kind of loses its like soul a little bit, and it's not as enjoyable. But yeah, that's my number 10 show. Love it. Can watch that, and I've watched it so many times. It's just a show that I can throw on in the background that is like a comfort. It's gotten to a point to where like these shows are all like comforting shows for me, right? Some of them are kind of like, but like they are. Okay, so number 9. Number 9 is Naruto. Naruto. I was late to the game on Naruto. Naruto and Naruto Shippuden I'm putting as one, even though they're kind of different shows. I don't know. People can talk junk about anime all they want. I don't care. Like it was made in 2002, and I think it went all the way to 2014. I think. Great show, bunch of different movies, very popular. I don't know. And it comes back to my theory of and how I view the world. I think we as humans cannot help but tell the story of Jesus Christ. And yes, it has some weird elements that probably make some people uncomfortable, but the entire story is about Jesus. And sounds weird because he's just the hero that never gives up, that always puts his life on the line for his friends, and it's just he has determination, and he is the hero that will sacrifice himself to the very end. Right? That is the core of the show. It's cool ninjas. They have powers. It's just a fun show that I've enjoyed watching. I haven't revisited it in a bit, but it's for me. I can rewatch it over and over again because there's some just great moments and moments that really hit you in the heart, and I just like that show, and so that's why it's my number 9. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, number 8. This one is a more recent one. It was made in 2015. It has 5 seasons. It is The Last Kingdom. Okay, so this is number 8 because this is about Uhtred of Babenberg, Alexander Draymond. So he is an Englishman from Babenberg, but then he gets taken as a boy by Vikings to live in Norway or... Yeah, I don't know, wherever the Vikings are from. And then he becomes a Viking, basically, but he is an honorable man. So when he comes back, he has some interactions with the kingdoms of England and Cambria, and it's just a great show. You never really fully see him reach his goal of getting control of Babenberg. That is where he's from, because his uncle kind of takes him out and then murders his father, kind of thing. There's a lot of betrayal. But that show, if you haven't watched The Last Kingdom, You have to watch it. It is awesome, and it's something that I can just keep watching because Uhtred of Babenberg just made me rethink about life and how really blessed I am to live in this current society, because I didn't even think about the aspect of like when I left, or when men left for war, right? Their women and children, if someone came and raided, were kind of, they were at the mercy of those raiders. So a lot of times, like he's went through a lot of tragedies, and you had to fight, you had to defend, and that just really changed my whole perspective on just life. Because I used to be like a really like kind of a pacifist kind of thing, but then I started thinking about that's not logical. Especially, it's just the only time that's really logical is in today's time. Any other time in history, that wouldn't have been as logical, right? Because we have military and we live in a country that defends our borders, right? But before that, you had to worry about your entire world getting invaded by like people that wanted to take your land, wanted to take your stuff. And it just changed my perspective, and that's why it's number 8. Fun watch. I could rewatch it. It had some a final movie that I didn't care for. It just wasn't enough for me. So that's why I think it's further down on the list. But The Last Kingdom is a great story and is my number 8 TV show. Okay, my number 7 is Cobra Kai Never Dies. This is a fun show of the Karate Kid. It's a spinoff of William Zabka, Johnny Lawrence, and it's his story. It actually makes you hate Ralph Macchio. For me, it did. And Ralph Macchio is kind of the villain of the entire thing, and I kind of dig that. But then they become friends, and buddy, the kids are great. It came in 2008, has 6 seasons. It came at a time when we were really like woke culture was at its peak, kind of thing. And so you had these boys that were just fighting, and I don't know. It was a great show. I enjoyed it. I recommend watching it if you haven't. It's You kind of have to suspend your like what disbelief, suspension. I don't know what that's called. Anyways, it's a great show. I loved watching it. Zolo Miguel Diaz, the story of him and how he becomes, and Robbie Keane, which is Johnny Lawrence's son. Just a great show. Really love it. There's some language, so be careful if you're watching with children. Maybe use it on Angel, where it filters the shows. But yeah, that's my number 7 show. 10, 9, 8, 7. Great show. Continue watching it. There's 6 seasons, and it's fun. I don't know if... See, this is my problem, I think. There's such great shows, but the way they end them sometimes isn't the greatest. The ending on this wasn't, like, it was really convoluted a little bit, but it's still a great show, and I recommend watching it. Okay, number 6, it is The Vikings. Ragnar Lothbrok, and then his sons, Bjorn, and then his other sons, Ivar the Boneless. It's basically the story of Ragnarok and them discovering that they can go, I guess, what was that, west to England and find, because they always raided a specific area, and they were looking for farmland, and they discovered England, and it's basically the story where he becomes basically the king of the Vikings, and then he dies, and it's just a great story. I don't know how historically accurate it is, but it is from the History Channel. It was made in 2013, and it had 6 seasons. Great show. I recommend watching it. It kind of plays with like Christianity and then the Norse like tension there, and how they just were coming at it from different perspectives, and how Christianity eventually influenced their culture as well. So it's just kind of a cool little look at that time period, and honestly, I think it's a great show. Okay, number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 5. Number 5 is, this is my second anime, and excuse me if you hate anime, is Avatar: The Last Airbender. This was made in 2005, and there's 3 seasons, and this is a phenomenal show. It has so much heart, and it really is like, I don't know, like, I watched this in a specific, very, I don't know, I was trying to figure out life. I graduated college, and I sat there and just watched this whole thing, and I was like, this is amazing. This is a great show, and I recommended other people to watch it. It's just one of my all-time favorite shows in anime, regardless. It has a great story. It's heartfelt. It's a story of the last Airbender, because the Fire Nation has taken over the world, and I don't know, maybe it's because the Avatar. I mean, it's a little bit of reminiscent of it's not even close to the story of Jesus, but it's telling that base story of a hero coming to save the day, right? The Messiah, that figure coming to redeem the world that it's around. Great show. Totally recommend it. It's only 3 seasons. They're remaking it now. The live action is okay. If you're trying to watch it, and this is your first time watching it, I'd recommend the anime show. There's some filler, but mostly it's a tight knit show of 3 seasons of him learning how to bend these elements. Okay? All right. And then we got number 4. We got Peaky Blinders. This was made in 2013. There's 6 seasons. Cillian Murphy is Thomas Shelby. It's a great show. One of my criticisms of the show is how it ends with the last movie. It wasn't a great movie to me, but the show itself was great. It's phenomenal. It's one of those shows where like you focus on the main character. He's super smart. He's 3 steps ahead of a person, the enemy. But it has the heart of a family, even though he doesn't fully trust his family. And it kind of loses some steam when some of his family members kind of die off. But it's a great show, and I truly love rewatching it. And I could go back and watch it over and over again, and it still makes me like it. You know what I mean? It doesn't fill me with dread like other dramatic shows. I think it's a great show. That's why it's my number 4 all-time list. Number 3. This one took a while for me to figure out that I liked it. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It was made in 2005 and it has 17 seasons. Hilarious. I didn't understand it because when I first started trying to watch it because it was recommended by a buddy, I didn't like it because it made me feel bad. I was like, these people are terrible people. Why would I want to watch them be terrible people? I don't want to ever visit Philadelphia if this is how people are. But then once I actually watched it fully, I understood that that's the entire point of the show, is that these are the most terrible people on earth, and it's a show from their perspective being terrible. That's the joke. And so for me, it opened up, and it's a really classic show that I could rewatch over and over again because it gets funnier every time I watch it. Some inappropriate stuff for sure, so it's not for children. So definitely don't watch it if you don't want to see inappropriate stuff. But it's just a lot of funny humor. Really, really like it. Okay, number 2 on my list. This one's a classic, and I actually try to rewatch it every single year, just because I don't know, like I've never been in the military. I never will be in the military, probably, but this show, and it's Band of Brothers. It was in 2001 and has 1 season. It shows the story of World War II. You have just phenomenal cast. Like the cast, you see so many people that are like, oh my god, that guy's a huge star in this show. Like you see people that are like young in their careers. It's just phenomenal, the cast. And then the story of like how these men risk their lives for freedoms that we enjoy. Like it makes you stop, and it's a great memory of World War II and Normandy and all those different aspects of that time period. And I recommend you should watch this. And if you haven't watched Band of Brothers, you're missing out on one of the greatest pieces of media that has ever been created, in my opinion. Like this TV show is above board. It's phenomenal. Like the only reason it doesn't make my top is because I don't think I watched it as much as my number 1 show. Right? But yes, you really should watch it. You get interviews of the actual men between the episodes who actually did these things that they're portraying on the TV. And it's just like, wow. And then you think about like, I don't know, for me, I think about like, well, I don't know, I couldn't do this. I'm not that man. I am not strong enough to do this. These men are far above beyond me, right? They've done something incredible that I don't think I could ever do. And but it also shows like how bonded they became through these events they went through. And I think that's what's to me is something that is it is phenomenal. And I'm unfocused again. Hey, hey, you can see me. You can see me. It's okay. Okay. Then it takes me to my last show, and if you know me, you know what this show is. You know that this show is something that I bonded with friends over this show. Um, if you know me, say what the show is. Okay, right now, 1, 2, 3. It's The Office. This was made in 2005 with 9 seasons. It follows the story of Dunder Mifflin, a paper company, and it just gets into crazy hijinks, and it's an hilarious show that honestly I think everyone should watch. There's some people that hate it, and I don't understand those people because it is one of the funniest shows I've ever watched in my life, and I will continue watching it. And actually, funny enough, I have started rewatching it again, and it doesn't miss. It doesn't miss even like almost 25 years later. No, wait, almost 21 years later. Excuse me. It is a 10 out of 10, and I recommend that everyone love this show. And I hate that my camera has lost focus here. Okay, there we're back because like I can't not talk about The Office. You have Michael Scott, you have Jim Halpert, you have Pam Beasley, Rainn Wilson, as Dwight Schrute, iconic character. Michael Scott, Steve Carell is iconic. Jim Halpert and Pam is kind of like the love interest. They're okay, but it has so many heartfelt memories. It has so many laughing moments, and it has a way of like I don't know capturing a lot of different periods in my life, and it's very consistent, and I will continue watching that. I will show my children The Office eventually, and I just think it's an amazing show. And yeah, so that's been my top 10. So starting at the top, we have Community, Naruto, The Last Kingdom, Cobra Kai, Vikings TV show, Avatar: Last Airbender, Peaky Blinders, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Band of Brothers, and finally the GOAT of shows, The Office. This has been another episode of Mrradillo's World. Share with me your top 10. That'd be awesome. And